Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am excited for today's video. Kind of impromptu. I'm just here at my studio, and regularly I like to go through my gig bag and sort everything out, and I check my packing lists because I run out of stuff or it ends up lost or in a different bag or whatever else. So I basically make a huge mess in my studio, which if the camera was pointing that way, you would be able to see, and just organize everything, figure out what do I need to clean, what do I need to replace, what am I missing, and things like that. So I thought I would take the opportunity to show you what is in my gig bag and give you some ideas for what you should pack. So let's just dive right into it. I'm going to show you first a couple things I use to pack. It's different for every event. It depends on the gig, how many costumes I'm bringing, what else, you know. So this is like my general just class rehearsal / small gig bag. I can usually fit my essentials and one costume in here, and it's just, I actually got it at Joann's. It's not even a dance bag, it's just cute. I like the size. When you are getting a bag like this, you want something that is really roomy and that you can access straight to the bottom. If you get something that's a funky shape, you're going to be digging through it. And then I also use just a medium-sized suitcase, like this. Gosh, I should really adjust my camera angle. There we go. I think this is better. I didn't want to have the bottom of the curtains here, but whatever. I think this is more helpful. So this is about the size I use for most gigs. This is just a durable suitcase by Samsonite. I've had it forever. One of the zippers is broken. I mean, I put it through a lot of abuse. I actually really want to get the Dream duffel bag, and I'll put the link in the description box for you. So when this one dies, that's my next investment. And then the other three things that I use pretty frequently are this fantastic hanger. I got it at Walmart, and you can just plop all your different costumes on here. I only use this if I'm doing like 3 or more, or if I have like multiple layers, like harem pants and skirts and things like that for a single costume. Super handy. This is the Dream duffel garment bag, and I love it because depending on how I want to carry stuff, I'll just pop the bedla in here and the accessories and the jewelry in here. So I have 3 of these right now, and I use those for my big shows a lot. And then just my general garment bag, I use this one. So it's a little bit longer, and it has a little handle at the top. So I actually clip this to my suitcase and just roll right away. So that is kind of what I pack everything into. And right now I'm going to take everything, I'm going to kind of show it to you, explain what I use it for, and pack it away. So these are the costumes from my last gig that I did. I actually borrowed this back from my lovely friend Paloma. So it's super, super beautiful, comfy, glamorous, red costume. La. And I usually will either put these into a canvas sweater bag or something along those lines, which of course I don't have handy, or I just put it gently into the case. And I always do put it at the very top of my suitcase so that there's nothing that's falling on it as I roll it away. Then I also have this tribal costume, which I keep in a shoebox because it is quite heavy. So this is my silver Gucci belt, and that just goes at the bottom actually because it's super heavy. So that goes down there. A couple things that you want to make sure that you have when you go to a gig are underwear, undergarments, and cover-ups. So think about not only your costume, but what is going with your costume. So accessories, which would go next. So I've got armbands, flower. I like to iron my veils and then drape them over a padded hanger so that they stay pretty nice. And then those hangers go in the garment bag as well. So obviously these have not been folded yet and ironed yet. So props, undergarments, overgarments. In the winter, I just bring like a sweater or a windbreaker, and I put that on. I actually think it's less distracting in the audience if you're wandering around and things like that. Kind of helps you blend in a little bit instead of having on like a really colorful, sparkly thobe or something like that. So just kind of depends. But I always advocate wearing tights. So I currently, in this bag, I had 3. So I've got a lighter pair, a darker pair, and then I didn't really like these fishnets. So this is kind of my throwaway pair. Oh yeah, see look, it's like completely torn right here. So these are practice tights now. But so I just keep my tights in my little flap here, a little flap in the top there. Depending on the gig and the costume, some other things you might like are a tummy mesh. These are from Sugar Petals, and I love them for working at family restaurants. I was really reluctant to start wearing them because it's not super traditional, and I also think they're a little bit on the warm side. But when I started using them at the family restaurant I work at, Azar's, my tips actually went up by an average of about $30. So that's basically how much it costs, so it paid for itself after one gig. So I recommend that you get a basic one. You can get ones that cover just the stomach and put hooks into your costume, hooks or snaps to secure it. Or you can get the one that comes over the shoulder. They also have long sleeve, different variations like that. So I use those for, like I said, family restaurants, or even like outdoor fairs and things like that. Just places where you're going to run into people who might be a little bit more conservative. It just makes them feel more comfortable. The other thing I always have is underwear that don't look like lingerie. So these are just little booty shorts. They go with almost all of my costumes. And since they sit under the line of my butt cheek, they don't produce like an awkward panty line or anything like that. So I have those. I also have these black briefs. These are actually just underwear from Walmart, but they are silky. So they're spandex. They just look like dance briefs. So those are super essential. I also have just matching underwear for different costumes. So I have like a bright green pair that I have with my green costume. I'll see if I can post that, but they're basically just shorts, and they're completely visible in my costume. When your underwear is part of the costume, the audience doesn't cringe when your skirt flies up because they know it is okay to see what they're seeing. Please don't wear thongs or, God forbid, no underwear, or just random lacy lingerie underwear, because things happen and the lights will shine through it, or your skirt will fly up, or whatever. Just be prepared and chest out your costume as well. So then we also have cover-ups. So like I said, sometimes I just use a sweater, but this is what I use in the summertime. And it's just a little cover-up with a sash, like that. And that's really, really easy and very pretty. So that all kind of goes together. I also bring my Bunheads knee pads, and I literally cannot live without these things. I have knee problems. I had a knee injury from falling down. I had patellar tendonitis. And I've been dancing professionally since I was 15. So now I'm 26 and I've got a lot of mileage on my joints. So I take really good care of them. These, they have a gel padding that sits around your kneecap. And the wonderful thing is that if you wear these under a couple pairs of tights, you really can't see them from any distance. Or wear them under Melodia style pants or harem pants. You won't even know it's there. You don't want to use like volleyball or sports knee pads that are really bulky. These are like $28 to $35, but they are so worth it. So I'm going to try to put links to everything that I'm recommending down in the description box so that you can go get it, because I don't just recommend anything willy-nilly. I take everything very seriously and make sure that I have not like the best, but like the best that I can manage for everything. So along the same lines, we have shoes and footwear. So I think my flats are already in here, or in here. I always keep my, here they are. I always keep my shoes unless they're just like completely falling apart, because if you're outside or you're in a really dirty place, you can just pop those on and you don't care too much about them because they're already worn down. So I have like 6 different pairs in various states of disrepair, and they get really stinky, so I just pop those into the little compartment at the top, because then they don't make my costumes smell like carpet and nastiness. So those go in there. Then I also have my high heels, which I usually prefer to wear as long as the floor will work with it. So this is one pair I like to use a lot. They're actually ballroom shoes. They're getting a little bit old, but they're really pretty. So those I wear with a light colored costume. And then these are my pride and joy. These are my Laducas that I wear with a darker colored costume. Again, I'll post the link for Laducas. They are incredibly expensive, but I've had these I think for 3 years and they are still supportive. They still are intact. The sole is not coming off. The only thing that really is going on is you can see some of the leather is really worn down on the heel, because these are what I use for can-can, and so I come down in the kick splits and things like that. But these are the most comfortable pair of heels you will ever put on your feet. They allow you to point your toe. And gosh, I can't wait to get another pair. I think this pair was $250 and I got them for Christmas. Thanks, Daddy. But I have taken extremely good care of them, so they're still in a box. Not the box they came in. I put them in a smaller box because my feet are very small, and the box just takes up a lot of room. Then this is my little foot kit. This has toe tape, Gold Bond foot powder, which I highly recommend because it absorbs a lot of moisture and keeps your feet and shoes from smelling really gross. So it has like kind of like a minty smell to it. But it relieves itching, it absorbs sweat, all that kind of stuff. Toe tape I use to tape my toes together. And then I've got different pads that I use. These are actually for point shoes, but I use them with my heels. So there's those. I've got, these are the best kind of toe spacers. They're straight through the middle, so I use those between my big toe and my second toe. And then also got callus cushions and bunion cushions because my feet hurt. There was actually this really cute bag that I wanted to get. I saw it at Empire Dance. I don't know if they have it still, but it said "My feet hurt" on it, and I really wanted it because it is truth. Okay, what should we talk about next? There's so much stuff in front of me right now, and I can't believe that I have this in my bag all the time, but apparently I lug this stuff around with me everywhere. Let's talk about props for a second. You want to make sure that you double check your set list and what props you need, because the worst thing in the world is maybe you have like a sword dance routine and you didn't bring your sword. So I've got a few different things over here. I have my fan mails that match my costume. That's what I used at my most recent gig. Those I'll usually just put right in there. Sword, you could have a sword, you could have candles. If you have a prop, you want to make sure you have anything you might need to fix said prop. So, for my candles, I always make sure I have extra candles, have a lighter, things like that. And then I have my veils packed in here already. I always make sure I bring zills because they really help to keep the audience's attention. And I usually carry these big silver Saroyans. Can't actually remember which one this is. I'll have to look online and then put the link. But I carry silver and brass because they will match different finishes on the costume. I mean, if you're going to go through all the trouble to match your jewelry and your costume and your accessories, and then you have your zills that are the wrong color, I don't know. I'm just really picky like that. So silver for silver costumes and gold for gold costumes. Of course, I have like 7 different pairs of brass ones and only 1 pair of silver ones, and these are really loud. So sometimes, depending on the size of the venue, I will go ahead and just use my smaller set. Those go right in there, and they stay there. Next is probably hair, makeup, and jewelry. I probably will do a separate video on hair and makeup because there's so much that goes into that, and it so depends on how I did my hair or how I did my makeup. So usually I just put whatever I used into my bag. But there are a few things that I always carry. One is several different red lipsticks so that I don't forget lipstick. This is actually my favorite right now. It's Hard Candy Velvet Mousse in the shade Tulip, and it is just, it's exactly this color, and it's matte, and you don't need a lip liner for it. I love it so much. I also like NYX's, what are they called? Velvet Suedes or something like that. And then in my jewelry kit, I also have lip liner and lipstick in here because sometimes I forget to pack stuff. So I always put backups in various places. And then in here, I have like colored jewelry and gold jewelry and silver jewelry. Usually I have it organized so that, you know, gold and silver is on one side and colored stuff is on the other side, but they just get mixed up. So, but anyway, there's some pretty things in there. But I love this Tupperware container because it just kind of keeps everything protected. There we go. So that just goes in there. Let's stick it down in there. Then I also swear by Elmer's glue. I developed a latex allergy, and the eyelash glues I was using were just killing my eyes. Just, oh my god, it was terrible. They were, not only were they watering and itchy, but when I would take them off, I don't know if it was the latex or just the act of peeling them off since it's really harsh glue, but it was leaving blisters along the top of my eyelash, which you can imagine was painful and terrible. Not something I like to do 2 to 3 times a week. No thank you. So I actually did some research online, and I found a tip from a Cirque du Soleil performer who said that they used Elmer's glue. And this never would have occurred to me before, but Elmer's glue is actually really safe. It's non-toxic, it is latex-free, it's very gentle. I mean, you can eat it. I don't advise it, but you can. So putting it on your eyes doesn't really seem that bad. So I tried it, and you can get an entire bottle of it for 50 cents. I mean, the eyelash glue is like $6 for this little tiny thing. Like, I don't even have to think twice about that. The only thing that I would say is that you do need to let it sit and get tacky for like maybe 1 to 2 minutes before you put it on, so the dry time is a little bit longer. But I actually find that my eyelashes pop up in the corners less than with actual eyelash glue. So the other option is that you can use weave glue, which is what I've heard a lot of drag queens use. That just seems a little bit too permanent for me, and since I needed something more gentle, I decided to try the Elmer's glue instead. But if you have really stubborn eyelids or like really oily eyelids, try weave glue. I don't know. Let me know. Let me know what you try. What kind of glue works for you? Just tell me. Everybody's different. So, I'm trying to look around here. So here's some makeup. I've got my general little makeup kit. This is actually what I keep in my purse. And what I do is I just take all my makeup out at my vanity, and then whatever I used on my face, I put it in here. That way I have it, and I usually just put it right on top of my purse so that I can just grab it. And then, you know, I have some other things that are too big for that, contour palette, bigger brushes. So all that generally either goes in the top of the gig bag or in the purse. You know, foundation, all that jazz. I don't have all of my hair and makeup stuff in here. But here's a handy trick. I actually keep a oven mitt in my gig bag, which seems really strange, but it's so that I can put a hot tool right in there and then go ahead and put it away instead of letting it cool down, because what happens when I let it cool down is I usually forget it. And these things are not cheap, you know, they're $30, $50, $80, who knows. So right now I just happened to have my hair straight last week, so I had my big hair straightener, And I also love this. This is a little mini hair straightener, and I got it for free with my old Revlon straightener. But they actually have one at Ulta right now. It's the same size, and it comes with a little heat protective pouch. And I love this because you can get the little baby hairs right by your face, and you can either straighten them or you can curl them. And it's really small, so I can even put it into my smaller bag, but usually I just tuck it right in there. And then we've got hairbrush, hair clip, so I can clip my hair up because it's really hot, and after I'm done dancing, I just want to get my hair off my back and my neck and like let myself air dry. So I've got brush, and I've got, for some reason, 2 different combs right now, and then a teasing brush, which I'm not using as much lately because I'm growing my hair out, and the teasing does tend to break hair, so I'm not really using that. Maybe just for the really big shows, I will, headband, just basic hair stuff that you would probably have in your purse anyway. Then we get to some things that I really cannot live without. Sorry, this little ball keeps rolling away. So let me just show you these guys. These are my 2 bouncy balls that I use for sore muscles. So you can roll against a wall to roll out your back, or you can mash it into your quad to relax it. You can use the little one around your knee, around your arms. So I keep these usually in my rehearsal bag since I use it quite often for rehearsal as well. Then we've got lint brushes, and again I have repeats of these because I never want to be without them. So I've got, this is the kind I recommend because it actually grabs the fur or the hair. Then I've also got a big sticky one and a little sticky one, so I guess I'll put the big one in there and my little one in there. Tissues, little travel toothbrush, travel toothpaste, gum, screen cleaner because I don't know, I use it for my phone or for my iPad or for the camera if anyone is filming. And all that stuff. And then I'll also have lotion, and this I love. This little bag has all of my little pain relieving creams in it. So I recommend you go and get every single one of these things. Badger Balm Sore Joint Rub. So amazing. It increases the circulation to your joints, so it helps to warm them up. It helps them to, if you feel stiff or sticky, or if they're kind of like grinding a little bit, I use a little bit of that. Just make sure you wash your hands after using any of these. Bengay, it's really stinky, but it works really well on muscles. This is my new favorite. This is Gold Bond Lidocaine Pain and Itch Relief Cream, and it has, lidocaine in it, so it's a very strong topical pain reliever, and it works extremely well for feet. So if the balls of your feet start hurting, or your toes start hurting, or your knees, or if you get stung by something, just pour some of this on there. And then I also have diaper rash cream, which has really been a lifesaver. I actually, this is TMI, but I use it on my butt because I get really bad skin irritation sometimes from wearing the costumes and sweating and all that. So a little bit of this goes a long way, and it actually does prevent like heat rash and ingrown hairs or any kind of like blisters that you might get. And yeah, it works really well, so I recommend that you get some if you have that problem. And all of it just fits nicely in here. And this I put in the top of my suitcase so that I can just grab it whenever I need it. Same thing with this little guy. I got this separated container. I think it was like a pack of 3 at Joann's, and I love it. So in here I have the Holy Grail of safety pins, which I also got at Joann's. They come in packs of 4 for like $3, so they're really expensive, but they are curved, which makes them easier to put into your belt. And then they have the cap, the diaper pin cap, so that once you put it on, it's not going anywhere. I've used these with tremendous luck. They're super strong. You can see the resistance there. So I'll compare that to, like, this is a pretty good safety pin too, but it's really easy to get it undone. Let me see if I have a poor quality safety pin in here, and I can show you the difference. well, gosh, I might not have any of the flimsy ones right now, which is actually good, but of course when I want a bad one, I can't find one. But anyway, I have gold ones, silver ones, diaper pins, little ones. I found these colored ones way back when. They're amazing, but I can't find any more. Here's a red one. And then I also have bobby pins, snaps, and earring backs in here, which are extremely useful. So this is another thing I just put right on top so I can find it. And I also have redundancies of this as well. So I have these two tins, which also have safety pins, bobby pins, and cotton swabs in them. And I literally just stick them wherever so that I can actually find these things when I'm in a hurry and I'm changing. Another thing I do is that I actually pin pins to the insides of my gig bags. So I'll pin them here. I think I have some pinned in here right now. So I just pin them to my bag so that worst case scenario, I can't find my little container, I just grab one. Super, super helpful. You also want to have a mirror, which also goes in the top, a fan, and a sweat towel. I also, sometimes if I have enough room, I put a large towel in my bag on top, and what I'll do is I'll put it down on the floor in my dressing room, because if you're in a bathroom or a really grungy dressing room, you just don't want to put your costumes on the floor, put your feet on the floor. So I just put that towel down, walk all over it. I will drop my costumes if I'm doing quick changes on that towel so that everything stays clean, because I don't know what it is with belly dancers. Most of the time belly dancers just do not care. Like walking on whatever kind of gross, nasty floor. But I'll tell you what, once you get an infection in your feet and you're told you might lose toes, you will think twice before you do that. So that was just my experience. One of the reasons why I wear tights and shoes now, just wherever I go. So this is my little sweat towel. It goes right in there, and I wash it very regularly. That all goes in there. Cotton swabs go in there. This is super useful. I found these at the dollar store. They're over-the-door hooks. And I actually just got another set. So these actually come out really far from the door. And these are amazing because you can actually hang your stuff up. And I'm such a diva, just wherever I go, I'll just plop that up, plop my hangers up. Good to go. And then also little extra clothespins. They fit over the hanger. So sometimes you have a really heavy costume, you can add an extra one in the middle, just whatever works. So I put those in there as well. Moving on, what else do we have? These are more essentials that I just kind of carry with me everywhere. Baby wipes, I use them to clean my feet, I use them when I'm sweaty, use them for makeup. I just get the cheapest ones I can find at Winco. These are actually in Spanish. So, recitos de oro, I don't know what that means, but they were really cheap. They're like less than $1 and you get 80 of them. So that's nice, those go right there. And then I have a large plastic bag for my powder things. So I have talc-free baby powder with cornstarch. And I use this like in my tights to prevent chafing and reduce sweating. I use them in my shoes. You can also use it as setting powder if you need to. It actually works really well for that since it's so fine. A repeat of the Gold Bond foot powder. And then this is just Ben Nye Fair Translucent Powder. So this is my backup face powder. And I'll actually just put it on over where I sweat to help absorb the sweat as well. And since they're powders, they're really messy, so they go right in there and then in there. Let's see. Trying to kind of stick to things in categories. I got this really cheap body spray. It's called Vampire Body Fantasies, and it smells really nice. I mean, it smells super cheap, but if you have like really stinky tights or shoes, you can kind of spray it. And I don't know if it's just that it's so overwhelmingly good smelling that it blocks out the bad smells, but it does actually really help to freshen whatever it is you spray. I think I'm actually out of it. but I just use that for emergencies. And then rose water is also another thing I just can't live without, and I'm almost out. I need to go buy more. But I spray this on myself before and after I perform, and it just is so refreshing, and it smells so nice that it gets you in the frame of mind, like, okay, I'm refreshed, I'm calm, I'm ready. And then when you're done, it just makes you feel so much better after all the sweating. It is so nice. It's a breath of fresh air, and it feels so nice. So let's talk about music. I'm just gonna scoop all this stuff over to myself. I usually play for like my regular weekly gigs, I'll usually play from my phone, either from Spotify or whatever playlist I have, just because they're set up to do that, and it saves a lot of money for burning CDs. But I do also have a enormous collection of backup sets, and these are all different varieties, different lengths, 5-minute to 30-minute sets, tribal, classical, Egyptian, whatever in here. And I actually ran out of space, so I've got like just massive amounts of them in there. And I kind of regularly go through and like replace them with more current sets that I use. But so this is my backup, or where I store the set that I intend to use for whatever show, as long as they accept CDs. I'm actually missing my iPod, which is troubling, but I think I left it in the dressing room at Azar's. But I usually have CDs, phone, iPod, and I have the music on all three. Have the same set, because you never know. Sometimes the CD doesn't work. Sometimes they say they can play an iPod and then the DJ doesn't know what the hell they're doing. So you just need to be prepared. I also sometimes bring my iPad mini, which was a gift from my boyfriend. Thank you. Because either I can run my music from it, or I can give it to someone in the audience to film. Because I don't like giving my actual camera out, because it's too expensive to just give to somebody. And yeah, only a few people are trusted with the camera. Some other things you want to have are a CD player, because you want to be able to play your CDs. You also need to check that your CD works, so having an old Walkman style CD player is a great way to test it and make sure it works with different systems. And then an aux cable, which is what plugs into like the headphone jack. So you can use this for your phone, you can plug it in there, or you can use it for a CD player. So what you can actually do with this is that if the sound system at your gig or venue isn't working, you can actually jerry-rig it yourself. So there's that. Also, charging cables. So this is the one for my iPod. Earbuds, so that you can listen to the iPod, your phone, or your iPad. Don't ever just play your music out loud. It's actually super rude, because another dancer is getting ready and they need to think about their music, and they don't want to get your music stuck in their head. So always have something where you can listen to your music if you need to, but you can do it privately. And then the other thing I have, I'm actually missing the other piece right now, but this is an iPod remote, which also was a gift from my friend Matt. So thank you. But you charge this, and you charge the little piece, and then you stick that piece into the bottom of the iPod, and you can have that iPod, you can give it to the DJ or whoever, and then with this, you can actually hit play when you're ready, which I think is just the most genius thing I've ever heard in my life. The only problem I've had is that it doesn't work 100% of the time, so I need to kind of troubleshoot and figure out why or how I can fix it. But I'm going to set this to the side because I actually need a different thing to put all this in, like a different bag or something. So then we have my sewing kit here, and in here I have a hot glue gun and extra hot glue sticks. Oh, I'm down to one. See, this is what I do. I go through my gig bag and then I say, oh, I'm out of rose water. I'm out of hot glue sticks. Better go to the store. So I make a list. Then I have, these are the best scissors in the world. My dad got them. It says Integgy, Integgy. I don't know if that's the brand or what, but they're craft scissors, so they're designed to cut wire or thread or plastic, like those impossible plastic packaging around different things you can buy that you can never get off. So I take those to my gigs with me, and then I have actual sewing scissors, because the one thing it won't cut is fabric. And then I have white thread and black thread, pre-threaded needles, which is every dancer's best friend. Got it at Joann's. Tweezers. Got a little thing here that's got different sizes of snaps and hooks in there. Spare elastic, and this is a good width that you could use for zills or for a skirt or an armband or whatever. I've got a little tin fistful of needles and safety pins, apparently. Fray check, another best friend to a dancer. Another pair of scissors and a seam ripper, and then these are some of my secret weapons. This is a gold fine point metallic ink paint pen. Got it at an art supply store, and then this is just a Sharpie. And these I use to touch up the cheaper gold beads or silver beads on a costume, and they actually work. So let me show you closer. Let's see. There you go. Put them right side up. There we go. Yay! So that really helps, because you can be standing around and just notice you've got a huge part of a bead that all the metallic paint came off of it. Just fix it. Fix it while you're standing around. It doesn't have to dry or anything. I mean, the paint pens sometimes do, but generally you just fix it and go. So yeah, that is my sewing kit, and that goes just in there. I'm trying to think. Oh, I always make sure I have a water bottle and snacks, but this is a recent addition, and I love it so much because some of you might know I'm allergic to food dyes, and the problem with that is that they're often used in cosmetics as well. So like Red 40 or Red 5 or whatever. And then even though I use a matte lipstick, when I eat, I'll ingest some of the lipstick and I can have a reaction. So I try to balance staying hydrated with also not having an allergy. But I actually put this Ziploc bag with straws in there so that I can just pop a straw into either my water bottle or my glass or my cup. And it's just the simplest thing, and it has saved me so much trouble. And then even from just an average practicality standpoint, you can drink without smearing your lipstick. And instead of having to go and ask the bar for a straw or remind the waitress for a straw, or you only have your water bottle and no one's even going to bring you water, just use a straw. So I put that in the top where I can get to it. And we're almost done. My gosh, there's so much stuff, guys. There's so much stuff. Let's see. There's more makeup, but I'll talk about that in a different video. I always carry my planner and my notebook. Just, you never know what you're going to need to jot down, somebody's contact information or a new show that you're going to do or whatever else. And then if you have your planner with you, you can actually book a gig while you're at another gig, which is always fantastic. And I think the very last thing that I need to show you, I think I got everything. These are a couple different ways that I keep my eyelashes. This one is just this little tiny, I guess it's ceramic, little box that I got. Where were we? We were in Sandpoint. And me and a couple other dancers got matching ones. But it's just a little tiny box. There's nothing in it right now, but this is usually what I use in my purse, and I'll just put my lashes in there so that right before I can put them on. It's because I hate having them on forever. And then I'll take them off and I'll put them in there so they don't get squished. But this is generally how I store them at home. They're not glued in right now like they should be, but I have my different pairs of eyelashes. What I did is I got the little circular lashy bits from just the pack that you buy them in, and I glued them into this little gift box, and then I painted over it. And the idea was that I would just put my lashes up there to store them. Of course, sometimes I'm really lazy and I don't do it. But nevertheless, I always pop them in there. And when I do this, when I take good care of my eyelashes, they last for a really long time. So you can buy a good pair and use it for, I don't know, I probably get them through like 6 to 12 shows, maybe, depending. I don't know. And these ones were actually, I just found these are Wet n Wild ones. These were like 96 cents or something like that. And they're really nice for like an up-close gig. And then I've got the more expensive, like $6 ones for stage shows. But yeah, so all that just goes into 1 or 2 bags, surprisingly. I'm surprised it doesn't take up more room than that. Obviously, that's not my entire comprehensive list. I actually am supposed to have a first aid kit in here too, so that's one thing that I need to restock. I like to carry ice packs and sprain wraps and just Band-Aids and stuff like that. So that's going on my list. And obviously it depends on the gig, depends on what props I'm using, depends on where I'm dancing. Sometimes I bring my own sound system, I'll bring lights, I'll bring my own broom. I'll bring more food in a cooler. I mean, it just really depends, but these are the most essential things that I always try to have with me, and hopefully me babbling on incoherently has been helpful. So tell me if you learned anything from this video, or if you have anything that you carry with you that you can't live without, because I would love to hear it. I'm always looking for awesome new tips. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you will join me again. I'm looking to do some more videos very soon. So thanks, and be sure to subscribe to my channel and like and support me and my vision so that I can do more stuff like this.